Married men of Reddit, what was that dumb thing you did during your dating phase that you can't believe your wife ended up overlooking? My uncle didn't call his now wife for over a year after they first met and he got her number. He kept the paper she wrote it on and ended up finding it and calling her asking if she still remembered him and was still interested in going on a date. So what you're saying is there's always a chance. Insisted that everything in San Francisco was walking distance from everything else, and decided we should walk from Pier 39 to Golden Gate Park. It is walkable, but not third date walkable, or whatever shoes she happened to be wearing that day walkable. As someone unfamiliar with San Francisco, I googled it. 6.5 miles apart, a 2-hour walk according to Google, and by the looks of it, a shit ton of hills. Google is giving me a warning I've never seen before that walking directions may not reflect real-world conditions, and it looks like the elevation changes back and forth a couple hundred feet more than once. San Francisco is notorious for having a city grid overlaid on a really hilly area. It's crazy steep and uphill downhill even if Google Maps is showing a straight line walk along a straight street. Google says a 30 minutes walk, but with all the hills it's actually a 45 walk cause I had to keep stopping to breathe, pray, etc. Google says a 2-hour 11 walk. Or is your inside leg 72? For our second date I had invited her out with myself and some friends to celebrate a friend getting a job. I drank heavily. She was my DD. She drove me home and as she pulled up to the curb I threw open the door, rolled out of the car, and vomited into the gutter. She then offered to help me cross the street, to which I responded by yelling I'm disgusting and sprinting across the street. Once inside, I brushed my teeth aggressively. She asked what I was doing and I told her I needed to clean my mouth so I could kiss her. After I was done, I walked to my room, laid down, and immediately fell asleep. She spent the night to make sure I was okay. I'm now holding our baby girl who was born just last week. I asked her at one point why she stayed with me through that and she said it was because even though I was piss drunk, the whole time I was still gentle and kind, asked her if she was having fun, and introduced her to everyone I knew. I'm a lucky guy. Edit, till that brushing your teeth after vomiting is bad. The mental image of a drunk guy yelling, "I'm disgusting," then sprinting away has me cackling. We drank a lot on our second date, Ubered home. Next day went back to get his car, and it wasn't there. He was so devastated. He just bought it recently and it was stolen. We filed a police report. Took forever and just generally sucked. We walked to his friend's house nearby, and there was his car, perfectly unstolen. He drank so much he forgot he moved it before our date. Now, once in a while when we're trying to find our car in the grocery store parking lot or wherever, one of us will say it's stolen. Call the police. Flicked a dime at her head. We were playing table football. Not sure what I was thinking. She has a scar. I kiss it every night before we go to bed. We are married and have 3 kids. Edit, thanks for the silver and all the upvotes. First time. I somehow totally understand this. When you get an urge to do something that seems mildly stupid, and it turns out much worse in practice but you already did it anyways. I had an extreme example of this happen. I was a tween and thought it'd be funny to kind of pretend trip a friend. He actually tripped and went through a glass table. I don't know what I was thinking except I was just really relaxed and in a silly mood one moment and panic-filled adrenaline filled me the next. There should be a name for this. Thankfully in my case I only remember the feeling, which is awful lol, haven't really done it since childhood. Accidentally set her hair on fire with a match while lighting a cigarette. Not good. We are still married 29 years later. I don't smoke anymore. When I kneeled to propose I landed on a sharp rock and we had to go to the UR because it lodged in my kneecap. Edit, wow. Did not expect this to get so many upvotes. My wife demands I make a minor correction to adequately embarrass myself. She said that I can't tell the story and leave out her absolute favorite detail. Because of the kneecap situation, I forgot to actually ask. She thought I got nervous and froze up and decided to save me by just saying yes. She also stopped me from pulling the rock out of my kneecap with my trusty Leatherman, which turned out to be the correct decision. She was a little bummed that I wasn't simply choked with emotion, but the situation as a whole is, now, a very fond memory. Side note, driving a manual transmission with a rock sticking out of one's kneecap is not super fun. She was about to sneeze and she was sitting half on my lap, so I kinda thought she was gonna sneeze on me and what I was thinking, but I put my hand up to block her sneeze except I had a glass in my hand, And I blocked her own hand from covering her sneeze, and instead she slammed her face into my glass. Married 6 years now. She still has all her teeth. So she sneezed in the glass. Smashed her face into the side of it, lol. I felt so bad. I once spear tackled my then girlfriend out of misplaced enthusiasm in high school. I was excited to see her and handled it as badly as was possible. It was in front of a bunch of our friends and I ended up knocking the wind out of her and making her cry. That was about 17 years ago, and we're still together. I also licked my plate at a fancy restaurant because the salad dressing was so good. She still brings that one up every few years. Edit, my most upvoted comment ever is me recounting my most shameful relationship fails. The internet is weird. Plate lickers unite. So, basically you're a man puppy. On our first dinner date, my husband ordered a shit ton of food to show me his favorites at an Indian restaurant, and forgot his wallet at home, and only discovered doing so when the check had arrived. Cleared me out well over $100 and he was absolutely mortified, but we've been married for near 2 years so. My card got declined on the first lunch date we went on. The bill was less than $20. I was ducking mortified. 15 years married now. I was unemployed and on a waiting list to join the army. I didn't have any money to take her out, but I wanted to, so I sold the graphics card out of my computer. All I did every day was play computer games and work out while I was waiting. So I traded essentially my most prized possession for just a chance at some dates. To buy her a bowl of chili, more specifically. 10 years married, she talked me out of the army, lol. That's some very risky move, bro. Glad it worked for you. My husband broke my thumb one night when we were slightly tipsy. Horseplay got too rough and I think drunk memory, he slammed my hand against something. We both heard the pop and I went to tears. Holy shit. That must have been one hell of an awkward night. It was okay. 1.5 thumbs up. I was sitting on the couch as we were playing Wii bowling. She was standing behind the couch, lovingly holding me. I draw back the Wiimote and wham. I whack her in the face with the Wiimote at full strength. Her mom was also in the room. Soon as I saw playing Wii I knew. We both knew. We were taking a shower together and she was soaping up while I was under the hot water rinsing off and she slipped and instead of grabbing helping her I pulled away, thinking for some reason that it already rinsed off and didn't want to get soapy. Thank God she caught herself on the shower curtain and didn't get hurt. She was, happy. My explanation of my faulty thinking didn't help at all, either. We laugh about it now but it took some serious smoothing over at the time. Oh yay, it's not like you were in the shower and can't just rinse again. Yep, she drove that point home. At least that was the quick end of it. Soapy water under the bridge. I made myself a burger for dinner before heading over to her place to hang out. Unfortunately I'm not the best cook and left a little too much pink in that burger. While we were at her house I bet her I could fit through the doggy door and crawled right through. Then she immediately closed it behind me and we raced to the front door, she won and she locked it. Now at this exact moment my bowels decided they had enough of that burger from earlier and I felt my stomach cramp. Luckily I held it all in and ran back to the back door with my cheeks clenched and starting knocking desperately in the door. She was laughing at first but when she saw my face go suddenly serious and I said very calmly I need you to open the door. Now please. She unlocked the door and asked if I was okay. I told her to stay downstairs and turn the TV up loud. She agreed but was very confused. So I ran upstairs and then had one of the most violent shits of my whole life. I thought the worst was behind me until I went to wipe. And of course no TP. So she took my instructions really well and when I yelled to her, texted her, and called her I got no answer. After probably like 10 missed calls she finally answered and I asked her to bring me some TP and leave outside the door and try not to breathe on the way upstairs. She was great about it and immediately started making fun of me when I came back downstairs. Now quite a few years later, a couple kids and cat, she's still making fun of me. Man, I was so expecting this story to end with you getting stuck in the doggy door and shitting your pants. I think I would just rather die at that point. Velp, I guess this how I go, stuck in a doggy door covered in my own filth.